So I sat down to edit this video and realized I messed up on the original export. And so we're just doing a, basically the rest of the video that didn't get exported. And so I didn't have an intro for this. So I'm just hopping in here. Basically, we're gonna just go over some of the updates that I've done to the farm this year and sort of my plans for the place. And let's dive right into it. I experimented a little bit last year was with water holes. I'd never done any of that prior, and I put one up on a dry ridge in a transition area, and blew my mind how many deer were hitting that, especially during the rut. So many times I had bucks come through, cruising through, hit that water, and keep right on doing their thing. So I'm expanding that a little bit this year, and this is probably the spot that I'm most excited about on the entire farm. And it's a spot that I overlooked for quite a while after I started hunting this property, mainly because it's right off the road. But it's a spot that I began to realize that a lot of deer are bedding off of this point, kind of down this bowl. And so the main food source is out that way on the next ridge over. But what I did was basically had a dozer, came in here, sort of connected the two, made a nice crossing coming across the main draw up into here, and just I want to create that flow, make it more natural. But this spot here just came in off that little clover strip, which is right out close-ish to the road where I can hop right in. And I'm up on this ridge, sets up perfectly for a northwest wind, where I'm blowing my wind right back onto the neighbors by their house. And then I dug a nice little water hole right here. We've got an astronomical amount of rain, and so it filled up pretty quick. But the plan is to basically set up in that cherry tree right there, up in the fork, and just down here below me, it just kind of drops off. There's a nice ravine bowl, and I've just running cameras there this year, realized how many deer are using this little corner. And so, you know, I had a stand here, but it was just didn't have anything that really drew them up to a specific point, and it just sort of felt like it was a wasted sit more than not. I did have, again, more deer coming through here than I realized, but I think with this water, and then I'll add a scrape up here somewhere to where these bucks will come up here out of the bed in the afternoon or in the morning, come slipping through here before they go down to bed. Makes for a perfect spot to be able to kind of really hunt the back of bedding without actually having to penetrate into the farm, which is pretty rare. I wouldn't say this is the main bedding area, but there's a lot of deer that utilize this corner of the farm. And if I can, I did some cutting in here last year, thicken it up a little bit, and then add in this water source and put in a good mock scrape. I think this is going to be a really good setup here. So I'm very excited about that. I think I can probably kill whatever buck is on the farm at this spot. It's just, especially during the rut, going to be a spot that these bucks are going to want to cruise through. So I put a water hole here, and then I also put one out on the food source. Less, that I feel like it needs to be out there, but more so just as a, it's a 4-acre field, and so it can be difficult even with multiple cameras to make sure you're getting all the deer that are utilizing it on camera. And so seeing how much they just naturally go to water is I'm going to use that as a way to hopefully be able to get more pictures of deer, just give them a bigger reason to be in front of that camera versus somewhere else in the plot. And it happens to be in a pinch on the plot anyways, so we'll hop over there and I'll quick show you that. So we're out here on the main plot, and this is about 4 acres, give or take. And then, you know, I cut that down to about 2 acres of actual food and lined everything with switch and stuff. But right here, another one of the water holes I put in, filled up pretty well, as full as it's gonna get, which is pretty cool. And this is just a natural pinch on this plot, which works out really good. This, you know, little draw basically runs up into the plot, and like I said, creates a fantastic pinch. And I got a stand up here over my shoulder that, you know, puts it about 30-35 yards. But again, you know, this is just a spot in my sort of my plan with this is just to bring the deer in to a certain spot to really get more pictures of them. Not necessarily that I feel like they necessarily need all this water, because this will be the third water hole on the farm. But you know, that first one we looked at back in the bedding area, that's going to be, should be fire. But as far as the actual plot up here, we're going to be sticking with beans. So last year we did beans, and was sort of my first go with beans. The year prior was corn, and we planted way too much corn. They didn't get it all eaten. Part of that was, you know, we didn't have the weather to really push them onto that. But with the beans, you know, I liked I didn't have to deal with, you know, voluntary corn coming up in the spring, as well as, you know, just the ease of putting them in. If you need to, you can just till it up, broadcast them, and run a cultipacker over it. And that's exactly what I did here, and it worked out really well. And the deer, you know, I did have to fence them off, which is one downside, but I'm able to broadcast rye into them easily, and that helped here late season. So I am sticking with beans, but I did want to show you here on the far end of the plot what I'm going to be doing over there. So right up here is a spot where I created an artificial pinch. I mean, it's not a hard, you know, they have to walk through here, but it's a natural edge that they want to follow. And there's a tree line right here that I can hop in. And so this gap is 25-30 yards. And, you know, this I planted in clover. Beautiful clover plot. I mean, this is gorgeous. And I'm going to kill it all. The reason being is I'm going to go with alfalfa. It's about 1/3 of an acre, 0.4 acres. And I have just seen the draw of even small alfalfa plots. My neighbor's got one, and just see, honestly, seeing deer crossing a big road to get to that plot kind of showed me the power of alfalfa. And so that's what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be converting this into an alfalfa plot, and then we're going to be putting a smaller, you know, 0.2 acres clover plot back in here, in by that blind that you watch me hunt all year. After hunting that some, I feel like I need a little bit more to pull them out of the timber. They were kind of running this edge, and I think if I have some clover out there, there's a better chance that they filter through that. So that's the plan. You know, I'll have alfalfa here, beans over here, and then back here in the staging area, I'm going to be doing about around 1/4 acre. So should be cool. I'm excited to see how that kind of changes things and see if that makes a difference for getting that flow to come by the blind. And I do have a stand that I'm planning to hang as another option to kind of cut them off, to kind of in case they continue to do what they did last year. So I'm super excited for this year, just with the switch hopefully coming in a lot stronger, with the miscanthus coming in full, and watch to see if that's starting to green up yet. Well, we got all the projects done for the day. Got that clover sprayed, kind of mapped out the area I'm going to be putting the smaller plot in front of that blind, and then did a little bit of shed hunting. Didn't find any more. I picked up around 6 off of that piece. So yeah, overall it's a good day. Felt like we got something done, and it's kind of nice with what I do you know, whenever I'm in the area, I swing by, get a little bit done. Never feel like I have to knock out a full day. I'll just spend an hour or two on it, you know, get it done the next time. So I'll keep you updated this year on how the farm progresses, how that switch does in year 2, and I'm excited already for velvet season. It'll be here before we know it. So we'll catch you guys up in the next one. Peace out.